What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Welcome, SteelerNation and others. Because I know many of people, they like to watch what we doing over here in SteelerNation. But what's up, everybody, man? Welcome to the latest episode of Terrible Towel Tuesday. I am your host, SimFBallCritic, SimFBallCritic, however you want to pronounce it. Live from the Steel Basement. What's happening, man? I feel like I haven't talked to you guys in a while. I don't know why. I feel like it's been a while. Even though I talked to you guys on the steel table last week. Shout outs to my good brother Kenyon. Shout outs to Debbie for coming through. We had a great time, but I feel like I haven't had that one-to-one with you guys in a moment. But we are here tonight. So let's get to it. I'm going to get through my topics, and then I'm going to open up the phone lines. Again, man, football season is over. It's not a whole lot to talk about. So it's going to be less yapping and quick to the action so I can get you guys in on the phone calls. The number's on the screen, man. If you want to call tonight, area code 619-924-0818. Knock on wood. Blog Talk Radio is cooperating. It is working. So we're going to get it popping. So, all right, man, let's say hello to some of the early commenters. Then we'll dive right in. BQ412, Dietrich Bundick. Hello, Lanisha. Hello. Always got to give a special hello to our lady listeners. What's going on, Lanisha? Hoping you're having a great evening. Joshua Shields. I'm on Mars. Black Thanos, my man. Vista Light. Wide Diggy. What's up, brother? James Tresvant. Who else? Steeler Cards. Brent Fox, my man. Still 43. Zuri Rivers. Who else? Cutboy 412. Jack Bauer. Who else? Sonny Roth Miller. And I think I skipped a few people, and if I did, my bad. I apologize. TJ Page and father-in-law Leonard Langley in the building. What's happening? All right, let's get right to it, man. Listen, first thing I'm going to talk about. Let me pull up my trustworthy notations. Give me just a moment. And we're going to talk about a couple things, man. First thing on my list. Let me see. I don't have any particular order, but I guess we could kind of talk about, man, a little bit of the roster move stuff. We'll talk a bit about the roster moves. But hold on, let me make sure I got my order correct. Bear with me for a moment. Yeah, let's talk roster moves. So, I told you guys, I'm not always the guy that knows so much about, the coaches and where these guys come from and what they do. Some of the guys, some coaches are right in your face. I'll say it like that. What I mean by that is some of the football that we watch, all of us, there's certain teams that you can identify their offensive coordinator, their defensive coordinator, their head coach, maybe sometimes special teams. But I'm going to be honest. I told y'all, I'm one of the most honest YouTubers that you're going to find because I'm always me. I don't fake it. I don't act like I know too much. Now, I'll tell you when I don't know anything, I'm just the average Joe putting on the show, right? I don't always know these coaches. So when the Steelers hire certain coaches, I don't always know who they are, where they come from, what they're going to bring to the table. So I want to qualify my statement by that. So I'm going to read to you the recent hires by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers, Tom Arth, if I'm saying that correctly. Tom Arth. Is it Arth? It's A-R-T-H. He's the new quarterbacks coach, which is interesting because now we know, and maybe some of y'all already knew, that Mike Sullivan no longer has an opportunity with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He was the quarterbacks coach. He also took on responsibilities along with Eddie Faulkner to be the makeshift, if you will, offensive coordinator while Matt Canada was relieved of his duties. But it looks like they're not going to keep Mike Sullivan unless Mike Sullivan is taking another role. But again, I hadn't checked much on Mike Sullivan. Maybe y'all already know what happened to him. But what I do know, he's not the quarterback's coach. It will be Tom Arth. And I know I'm going to mess this name up. Zach Azani. Is it Azani or Azani? I don't know. But he's hired as the wide receivers coach. Again, I'm not too familiar with him as well. We'll look and see what happens there. I know a lot of you good people in SteelerNation, y'all wanted Hines Ward because, we do that a lot at SteelerNation. Just like a lot of people wanted Byron Leftwich, because of his Steelers ties. And then some people are going to say what he did in Tampa. But, not taking anything away from Leftwich. But again, Tom Brady, Bruce Arians, pretty decent trio right there, right? So do we know how good Leftwich is or isn't as a coordinator? I don't know. But again, this is not about Byron Leftwich. I love Byron Leftwich. I'm just saying, Steeler fans do that a lot. You always want these ex-players to come back and be coaches. Not everybody can coach that way. Just because they were a great, individual contributor as they were on the football field doesn't always mean they can teach and coach. Not taking nothing away from Hines Ward. I'm just making a point that SteelerNation does that all the time. So I do apologize for you all who wanted Hines Ward. It is not Hines Ward. It's Zach Azani, whoever that is. And then last but not least, Mateo, is it Kambui? If I'm saying that correctly, it's spelled Kambui. Mateo Kambu or Kambui as an offensive assistant. So what I will do is I'll pause for a moment and I will look in the chat and see if any of you guys have any opinions on any of those people that I named there. Are you familiar with them? Do you like the hire? Do you dislike the hire? If you dislike, give me the reason why. If you like, give me the reason why if you're familiar with these folks. Let me see what some of you guys are saying. Joshua Shield says, yes, Coach Sullivan is trying to get another role with the Steelers. Okay. Interesting. We'll see how that goes. Will he end up being a passing coordinator? Some teams have a run game coordinator, a pass game coordinator, a quarterback's coach. And we'll see what happens. Will I Am says, I have no clue who they are. You with me? We in the same boat, brother. I have zero clue who these guys are. Does anybody else have anything to say? Anyone else? I'm only going to wait a few seconds. All right. Doesn't look like anyone else has anything else to say about these people. So, hey, I hope that... hold on. Why Diggy says, I like the hires overall. Seems like they're trying to take a different approach. And different is good. And like I said, I don't know who these folks are, but I will agree with Why Diggy in saying, obviously, they're taking a different approach. We saw that with the hiring of Arthur Smith, finally going outside to bring a coordinator in. And it looks like they're doing the same exact thing with these positions. So, yeah, it looks like a new theme in town, right? So we shall see how it pans out. Hopefully it pans out great for the Steelers, but that's yet to be determined. And I will say this, Tom Arth, I will say this, sir. You, my friend, will be judged by SteelerNation based on what you do with the quarterback room. One in particular, Kenny Pickett. His success will be, I'm sure, squarely on your shoulders for many in SteelerNation to see how this guy progresses. Him along with Arthur Smith, they will be looking at the two of you guys to determine if you're able to do what you need to do to take one Kenny Pickett to the next level. So we shall see. All right, guys, moving on to the very next topic. Hold on. A couple other roster moves I did want to discuss in case you guys didn't see my independent video yesterday. Let's talk about it real quick here because I know some of you guys have something to say about it. So I'm going to mention it here, and maybe when you call in, you'll give your thoughts then. But we all know that the Pittsburgh Steelers have parted ways with Presley Harvin, Mitch Trubisky, and Chukwuma Okorafor. Very interesting indeed. Surprising? No, it is not. Interesting? Yes, because it absolutely highlights some areas that the Steelers are going to have to address. Punter, not so much. And the reason why I say that, they always seem to have a punter in camp, whether that's a veteran or whether that's some, undrafted free agent. So I'm not too concerned there. I think it'll be easier to find a steady Eddie type of punter. But quarterback and right tackle are very interesting now. We all would have assumed that Mitch Trubisky was not going to be back, right? But also, we cannot discount the fact, we've talked about this a couple weeks now, we don't know what's going to happen with Mason Rudolph. Some people are saying they heard that Mason Rudolph doesn't want to return to Pittsburgh. And I don't know. I haven't heard anything. We're going to have to wait until free agency opens up. But let's just suppose that Mason Rudolph decides he's not coming back. Steelers only have one quarterback under contract. Whether you hate or love Kenny Pickett, my friends, is the only one currently under contract now with the releasing of Mitch Trubisky. Now, am I going to cry a river over Mitch Trubisky? Absolutely not. You guys remember during the down the stretch of the season, I'm calling him number 10. He didn't even have his name. The only reason why he has his name now because he does not or no longer dons a Steeler uniform. So I'll give you your name back. But the Steelers are in somewhat of a pickle because let's just assume Mason Rudolph doesn't sign. Woo! Steelers look like they're going to have to do something at the veteran level and perhaps draft or undrafted free agent. And not to mention the Steelers a lot of times like to come into camp with 4 quarterbacks. Keep your eyes on that. It's going to get very interesting. And then also right tackle. This gets very interesting as well. We all assumed that Okorafor wasn't going to get his spot back once Broderick Jones came in and did fairly well. But also, a lot of us would like to see what Broderick Jones can do on the left side, his natural position. Are the Steelers at a point where they're ready to go ahead and start grooming him for the left side? If that is the case, who do they have in mind at right tackle? What happens to Dan Moore? Even if they decide that Broderick Jones did a good enough job at right tackle that they're going to keep him there and stick with Dan Moore, you still need a swing tackle. You still need depth. So this position becomes very interesting now going into the draft and free agency. We got to keep our eyes wide open to see what these Steelers are going to do at the right tackle position. So that's why I said none of those releases or cuts were surprising, but interesting. Because, I'm going to have my eyes like this, wide open, looking to see what they do in free agency and the draft. So Steelers got quite a few things to mull over. Now, I did see that, and shout outs to Dave Bryan over at SteelersDepot.com. I think the last update that I saw, it looks like at the moment with roster displacement and all of that, the estimated cap right now is at about $10 million. But don't get your hopes up with that, guys. There's a lot of other things that has to happen. There's roster bonuses that are due. Those guys had roster bonuses due in March, so maybe we see more cuts. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some restructuring, but I do think the Steelers would be mildly, decently active in free agency. But let's not read too far into what the cap is now, because as we all know, the cap situation can change very quickly for the better or for the worse. And we'll see where that cap number comes in as far as overall, for all teams involved. So we'll see what happens there, because I think they're expecting an increase. So, hey, there we have it. So let's see. Let's get to the next topic at hand. And that is, let me pull it up here. Main topic of the night, guys. Then we'll get right to the phone calls. And I hate to say this about you guys and gals in SteelerNation, but I have to be honest and truthful. Good people of SteelerNation. We as Steeler fans are starting to get a little desperate. Yeah. We're starting to get a little desperate, and I'm going to explain to you why. This is a Steeler Nation type of thing. Other fan bases may do this, but I only know about my fan base, right? I always make the joke about the Steelers fans always want the Steelers to sign every player, trade for every player, and draft all of the best players. That's what we expect at all times. We don't accept no for an answer. We don't accept the business that goes on behind closed doors. We don't accept the players sometimes motivating where they want to be traded. We don't accept that it takes two to tango. None of this stuff. We just want. And right now, we're getting a little desperate at the quarterback position. And let me explain to you why. The elephant in the room is they're saying that the Steelers might be targeting Justin Fields. Now, hey, I don't have anything against Justin Fields athletically. I think he is a talent. How good is he? I don't know. And y'all know why I say that? Because he hasn't had the greatest start to his career. Granted, I'm not putting it all on these, not all on his shoulders. He hasn't had the best coaching situation. Hasn't had the best talent around him. But the numbers are what they are. It's the same thing, ironically, that I say about Kenny Pickett, right? But some people in SteelerNation won't give Kenny Pickett no more chances. So if you feel that way about Kenny Pickett, you might have to look at Justin Fields and say the same thing. I'm only speaking to those people who they only react to highlights and what they see. What case has Justin Fields made in your eyes? I'm just talking about those folks that make you feel like he'll be a surefire superstar with the Steelers. We don't know that. The only thing that I could say from my eye test that Justin Fields brings to the table right now over a Kenny Pickett is his ability to run. I like that ability to run. Cute little play call they did in the Super Bowl right on that 4th and 1 where they put the ball in Mahomes' hands and he, kept it for himself. I like a quarterback that can run when necessary. So I ain't mad at that at all. I would take a Justin Fields type of athleticism. But I don't know how good of a quarterback he is in the NFL. I don't. That's fair. Giving a shout out to my buddy Kenyon. Kenyon said, man, no quarterback from Ohio State has ever been great. There's one that looks like he's about to challenge that. CJ Stroud might have he just might break that curse. However, again, Justin Fields hasn't shown me anything that makes me feel like if he comes to the Steelers, it's a wrap. We're going to the Super Bowl. We're going to get 4 in a row. Again, that's not me dumping on Justin Fields. I'm just saying, guys, that we got to be fair on both ends. The same way I say, hey, man, I think Kenny Pickett might have something. I just got to see him read the field better. He's got to stay in that pocket, but I'm still giving him a slight chance. I would do the same thing with Justin Fields if he became a Steeler. I'm just saying, from watching the Bears games, I can't say there's overarching things that make me must have him. I will take him. Again, some of y'all don't like him, so my opinion is I will take his upside. I just don't know if there's a huge upside. I don't, because he hasn't shown it. That's all. But you have that crowd that's dying for him. But let me explain to you. If I'm not mistaken, Justin Fields would be going into what? His 4th season? Am I correct? I'll hold tight for a second if you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. He's going into his 4th season, I think. I think he just finished his 3rd season. If that is the case, I would believe the Steelers would have to exercise a 5th-year option on him, or they would have to extend the contract. Somebody said yes. Okay. So, because this would be the end of the 3rd, so you would have to make a decision now on the 5th-year option, I believe, right? So do you do that? What is that number? I think it's around 20-something million. So are you ready to commit that to Justin Fields, right? If you're not, you're saying you're going to let him play out his 1 remaining year, right? Which is cool. It's not costing you a lot of money. But what if he balls out? Now you really got to pay him the bag. Now, that might be a chance the Steelers want to take. So again, understand the scenario. If they trade for him, they either have to exercise 5th-year option. You're going to get him for 2 years. I think it's about $22 million. I don't know exactly what his rest of his contract is on his rookie deal, but you're looking at about 20-something million for 2 years. That would be guaranteed technically. Or you just take him for his salary now. You don't exercise the 5th-year option. He has an excellent year. You want him back, and now you're in quarterback negotiation. So that's what the Steelers would have to consider if they traded for him. So just consider that for a moment. Next, the other rumor that came out, and it's funny how the media does these obvious connections. Now the name Ryan Tannehill is getting thrown in the mix. Let me explain this. You might be able to get Ryan Tannehill a little cheaper, but we all got to consider the quarterback market. And because the quarterback market is so high, do the Steelers want to spend that type of money on the guys that we're naming? Ryan Tannehill, I would say, would be able to run Arthur Smith's, scheme because he did it before. Ryan Tannehill does give you good play action ability, has some mobility in his legs. Do I look at Ryan Tannehill as a guy that I think is going to take the Steelers to the next level? No, I don't. I'm sorry. I don't. What did he do for Tennessee? They got very far in the playoffs one year, but did he win anything? Reason why I say that, because again, SteelerNation, y'all want us to win the Super Bowl. So when you're asking about all these different quarterbacks, my question to you guys who think the SteelerNation members who think we're supposed to win a Super Bowl every year, which one of these quarterbacks winning a Super Bowl for the Steelers? Ryan Tannehill doesn't come to mind. He's a decent quarterback that could probably manage the game. I'm cool with that. If we're going to be run heavy, I'm cool with that. But I'm saying, can you get that type of production from another quarterback, a younger guy? Hey, you probably could get Ryan Tannehill level of production from Kenny. I think if Arthur Smith puts Kenny Pickett in a situation where we're running the football very, very effectively, like we did down the stretch with Mason Rudolph, and we're doing play actions, we're getting Kenny on the move, I think Kenny Pickett is well within his ability to perform like a Ryan Tannehill. So therefore, I wouldn't take Ryan Tannehill, an older gentleman, with not a super dynamic style to him that makes me say, whoa, I need that. Then there's Russell Wilson. Y'all know I love me some Russell Wilson. He's from my hometown. Shout outs to Richmond, VA. But I don't know. I don't know. That's all I'm going to say. Because how much is Russ going to cost us? Russ is at a point in his career, he going for that bag. And again, do you want to invest? My overarching point is, do you want to invest that much money on an older player? And the reason why I say that, once you tie up that quarterback money, cap gets swallowed up. And I'm just at a point as a Steeler fan is I'd rather not do that with older guys just to win for the moment. And that's the desperate part that I feel like with Steeler fans. Y'all just want to do whatever can work today. I don't want to do that. I'd rather them go find them a nice young franchise quarterback. Where is our Josh Allen? Where is our Joe Burrow? Where is our Lamar Jackson? However you feel about Lamar. I like Lamar. Where's our Justin Herbert? These young boys who got upside. Hey, I might even throw old Brock Purdy in there, even though I'm still not 100% sold on Purdy as being this excellent quarterback, but I got to give him his props. Made some very nice throws in that Super Bowl, even though he may not have played great. He did make a couple throws that I said, oh, okay, that's Brock Purdy. That ain't just a scheme. So I got to give credit where credit is due. I'm going to be fair. Even if I don't necessarily like you in the beginning, if you prove me wrong, I'm going to be fair and say, okay, Brock does have a little skill as well. I still don't think he's this elite quarterback that people are trying to make him. I think he just had a perfect situation, which I can't knock him for that. I'm just speaking my eye test. But he definitely made some throws that I was like, okay, I'll give you that. But I would rather the Steelers get one of those. That's why I would rather Kenny Pickett work. And if Kenny ain't the guy, go back to the drawing board. We need to get a youthful franchise quarterback. I don't want to get into that business of taking this guy for 2 years, taking that guy for another 2, taking this guy on a 1-year contract. I don't want to do that. Now, if somebody was going to tell me they'll guarantee us a Super Bowl, oh, okay, maybe I'd fall back. But I don't want us to become that type of team. And the reason I say that, man, is, again, a little bit of it is we're a little spoiled, because you have been Roethlisberger for so long, and that doesn't happen every day. But I at least like to get a solid 7-8 years out of one guy. You know what I mean? I want us to find one of those. And I know this guy hasn't got it done, but where's our Dak Prescott? Just a guy that he's capable and can be a franchise guy, whether they won the Super Bowl or not. Y'all know what I'm saying. Where's our Jordan Love? Somebody like that we could say, all right, we got something here, and build off of that. I don't want to go with the older cats. No disrespect. And here's the last one. Then I'll get to the phone calls. They're throwing Kirk Cousins' name out there too. Once again, Kirk is going to cost you. Plain and simple. And again, do you want to invest your money in these guys that have been there, done that, and they're only going to be for a few years? That's all I'm saying. If you're cool with that, I'm not going to say you're wrong. I'm just saying that's not my mind. So when some of you guys have asked me offline, how do you feel about this? How you feel about that? That's how I feel about it. I'd rather not do that. I'd rather not get in the business of that. I'd rather not, no disrespect, be the Cleveland Browns where they keep trying to find a quarterback. I don't want to do that for the Steelers. If we can avoid it, I don't want us to be that. No. I don't. So that's all I got on that, man. Even though, listen, Kirk Cousins is not as bad of a quarterback as some people think he is. Kirk will throw an interception here and there, but the one thing I will say about Kirk Cousins, whether you hate him or love him, he's had games where you were like, wow, as far as numbers, and has made throws. Think about his entire career. He's had some wow moments where you almost felt like, man, I can win with that guy. He's almost been like almost like a Tony Romo. You can win some games with him. He's going to ball out from time to time, but then sometimes when the key moment hits, he throws an interception, and that's just bad news. I don't want that. Need to drink some water, guys. I don't want that. So that's just my opinion, man. That's just my opinion. Roll with Kenny Pickett, or draft another guy, or get you a young veteran that ain't going to cost you so much, and let him compete. And if Kenny ain't it, which clearly Art Rooney and Mike Tomlin have said, listen, the third year is important. If it ain't it in year 3, then go back to the drawing board. I'd rather us do that than to lock up money with some of these older guys who are only going to be there a couple years. They're not signing no long deals. So there you go. That's all I got. All right, so it's phone call time, man. If you guys are in the queue, let's check and see. All right, we got a couple. Only a couple right now. So again, I will remind you guys, if you want to call in, area code 619-924-0818. Call in and speak on whatever you want. Only thing I ask you to do is keep it short. Keep it short, because I'm getting back on business of muting you if I have to, and I try not to, but do not go so long. That's all I ask. Love to hear from you, but not for an extended amount of time. Is that fair? All right, let's get to it, man. The first one in the queue. And y'all let me know if it echoes, because I have speakers. So let me know if the caller is echoing. If so, I will definitely plug up the headphones. But give me a second. Let's get it popping here. All right, everything's turned up. First in the queue is our good buddy, Mr. Winningham, man. 803. What you got for us?
Good evening. Good evening. Guys, it's so great to talk to you guys. Been out of commission in the hospital with staph infection, and we never know when it's the next time we be able to talk with one another, say hello to one another, and we can't take that thing for granted. Now, to get on top of what you guys are talking about, well, Art Rooney has already put a thing out saying there's time for Kenny Pickett to step up. Art Rooney is also not happy with not having a playoff win since 2017 when we almost made a run to the Super Bowl that year. Now, your father-in-law and one of your other buddies would know back in the 80s when it seems like the same way today. Everybody in the division had at least a star name quarterback because of the Deshaun Watson situation. He hadn't played up to his contract. And then we had Bubby Bristol. Well, it seems that way with Kenny Pickett. Everybody has a franchise quarterback, and, well, we just got Kenny. So, right now, it's not even the fans. Now, Art Rooney has stepped up and said, hey, it's time for a big change. Kenny Pickett's going to have to step up. You talk about quarterbacks. The only thing I would have to ask you is, with Russell Wilson's situation being released from Denver, could we pick him up on the veterans minimum, being Denver's going to have to pay him money if they're going to cut him? And lastly, what do you think about the audacity of the NFL and Micah Parsons' statements on T.J. Watt not being a pass rusher? Thank you so much. Everybody have a great evening.
Man, Mr. Winningham, thank you for the call. And first and foremost, man, glad you are doing better. I'm glad your health is okay. And you're absolutely right. We always have to acknowledge that you never know. I told you guys, a week or two ago now, my father had surgery. I didn't go into detail of what it was, but he had some pretty significant surgery, even though it's quote unquote non-invasive. But he's doing well. So yes, first and foremost, I'm glad you're doing well. I'm glad that I will say it was just a staph infection, meaning that's something that can get better, and it's so good to hear from you. And fellas, make sure we go on to the doctor, man. I always say that, myself included, get your annual checkups, man, and just, don't be hesitant to find out what's going on, and just make sure everything is going steady if it's going steady. But yes, really quick. One thing that I didn't say, and Mr. Winningham just pulled it out. If you can get a Russell Wilson for the cheap, okay, I'll take the stopgap. No problem. Yes, I will. Because my only argument was, why sign these guys for a lot of money and they're not going to be with you long term? But if there's a situation where a Russell Wilson is cut and Denver's having to pay him a chunk of money and he's willing to sign a very team-friendly deal, okay, I'll take that. Because I do think Russell Wilson still has talent, right? And at the very least, bring him in if it doesn't cost you so much to push a Kenny Pickett. So that's why I'm saying I wouldn't be opposed to that. And if he is to outdo Kenny Pickett and gives us the best chance, and it doesn't cost us a lot of money, it buys us more time to find another quarterback, sure, I'd take that at the right price. Yeah, man, the NFL and Parsons, man, I'm not even going to address it, man. It's crazy to me. I'm not going to let it bother me too much. And just because I'm a Steelers fan, this is a non-biased comment, but we all know T.J. Watt is the baddest dude on that football field in terms of edge rusher. He just is, man. He just is. I'm sorry. I like Michael Parsons. I like the freak that he is, right? In terms of lining him here, lining him there. I like Myles Garrett. He is a massive human being and just do some amazing things. But come on, man. TJ has outperformed. That's all it's about. And I try not to be a numbers guy, but sometimes it's about the numbers. When you literally have better stats, I'm just saying, man, come on, stop it. All right, I'm going to move on, man. Area code 443, what you got for us?
Hey, what's up? I quickly just wanted to say, you mentioned, we won't be the Browns, or, we don't want to be the Browns. And I fear that we're well on our way, because just Kenny is not working. And I think the thing that bothers me the most with Kenny Pickett is that everybody on the planet has acknowledged that he's played bad, except for him. Like, he refuses to, just say, yeah, I should get my act together. Or like, when they ask him questions about Mason Rudolph and he's like, no, I didn't learn anything. It's like, what is your problem? You're just not that good. Admit it and get and try to get better. I also wouldn't mind spending big money on a quarterback because I don't think the draft is promising. And I would hate to throw away, Cam's like last year if he plays again, TJ's time, Alex Highsmith, these great defenders that we have. We just lose so much time with them. And then lastly, I see people were saying, oh, we should keep Mason, or we should go try to get Andy Dalton. I completely disagree. We want to be competitive, not at the bottom. See you then.
Man, great call. Great call. Thank you. And you know what? I have to acknowledge the flip side of the coin, because you make a good point there. What if the Steelers are in the mode of, we want to win now? We got, these veterans that have been here, the TJ Watts and the Cam Haywards, even though TJ isn't as old as Cam. But again, TJ's pushing 30. Who knows how long he wants to play. While you have a core like that and Highsmith along with him and a Minka in the back, it is very possible that the Steelers could be in a win now situation, right? So if they decide to do that as an organization, then I'd have to step back and, say, okay, I don't really like us doing this short term, but it is what it is. And I will accept whatever comes from that. So I appreciate you, arguing that side of it, because that is absolutely right. If they, from an organizational standpoint, feel like that, then I can't be upset at whatever they try to do. And I think if they do that, they're telling us that's what their approach is. So I would have to accept it. And really quick on Kenny Pickett. Yes, man. I'm glad you said that. That's a couple of things that have bothered me about him as well. That short to the point, like, not even passive aggressive. That was just straight to the point of no. Like, dog, if you were a good teammate, you at least fluff it. You at least put some fluff on it. Yeah, man, I really I have a good relationship with Mason. And I have to say, man, he's doing a good job with getting the guys together and running the offense. While I've been on the sideline, I've been able to reassess and just understand, when I get back in there, just easy does it. You can say the right things and not chump yourself or overpraise the other guy. But to just get to the point of, no, that won't good. And also, Kenny, we ain't going to forget that you didn't do the exit interview. What's up with you, brother? It don't look good amongst fans and probably not amongst teammates. Just saying. Next caller, area code 951. What you got for us?
Hey, what's up, Sim? Thanks for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
Hey, real quick, I just had a question regarding Arthur Smith. I've been hearing the buzz around the NFL, that he's known for his run, his ability to, get the run game going, along with the play action. I think that's a good thing. But my question is, how do you guys feel, or what do you guys think is going to happen in Pittsburgh? They got two good running backs. I think they had a good, a little tandem there towards the end and running the ball. How do you think that's going to bode well as far as our receivers, George Pickens and Deontay Johnson? They want the ball. They need the ball. I can't see the Steelers running it every down. They do got to open up the playbook a little bit. So maybe you know a little bit more about Arthur Smith than I do, but just want to get your opinion on that, man. How do you think it's going to fare well with our receivers and the possibility, the lack of them getting the ball?
Man, thanks for the call. Good question. I don't know that much more about Arthur Smith than anyone else. I have been looking at some of the film, and I know I've been slacking on the exclusive film for channel members. I promise y'all, I'm coming back. We're gonna take a look at some of Atlanta's offense and even maybe see if we can go back and look at some of the, as long as I still have access to Game Pass, maybe look at a few things they were doing in Tennessee, which most of us probably remember that. It does concern me a little bit with guys like Deontay and Pickens in terms of them buying into the team aspect. Because what Arthur Smith definitely does a lot of is play action and heavy run, right? So it's run to set up deep pass, or sometimes, and I think I talked about it maybe a week or two ago, I did notice he likes to run sail a lot. That involves the tight end. Those were kind of the times he was getting Kyle Pitts the ball. So I wonder how many targets our big play receivers will get. I hope that they utilize a guy like George Pickens the same way they utilized A.J. Brown in Tennessee when he was there. So then the question becomes, how much of the targets will Deontay Johnson receive? So it's a good question, and it's reason to be concerned given the fact that in this past season we saw both of those guys kind of act away. You know, seems like they were kind of getting into their own feelings when we were losing and not necessarily being great teammates. So it's definitely a good concern, good question. We got to keep our eyes on that one, man. Yep. All right, let's move on to the next call. We actually have 2 calls with the same area code. So I'm going to take the first 864, which is 864-621. What you got for us?
What's up? What's up, Sam? Thank you for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
I just feel like I heard your pros and your cons when it comes to Kenny Pickett and Justin Fields. I just feel like Justin Fields has more of a better upside. I mean, I know you mentioned that you thought he was a better scrambler. That's about it. But I think Justin Fields, he stays in the pocket, you know, more often than Kenny does. And he has a stronger arm. I think his hands are a little bigger. And I just feel like overall that his upside will give us more. And also Kenny, he kind of gets hurt, you know, sometimes. He get hurt. I don't want to say a lot, but it seems like every season he's gotten hurt. I don't know if Justin Fields has, you know, been hurt like that, you know, but I feel like he gives us a better chance to move further, you know, have a better record or whatever moving forward. And you know, that's all I want to say. I don't want to hold you up. Thanks.
Man, thank you. Thanks for the call. And man, this is why I love talking to you guys, because I like to hear the other side of it. And nothing you said there is wrong. So truthfully, yeah, I probably would agree with you that Fields probably does have a better upside. Like if we looked at what Kenny Pickett and Justin Fields, you stand them side by side and just rate them on their skill and upside, I'm probably going to lean Justin Fields. The same way that most of us was leaning Malik Willis over Kenny Pickett before they got drafted is because of what you think the potential would be. Because what Justin Fields would bring right away, not even just scramble. I think you could play Justin Fields kind of like how the Eagles plays Jalen Hurts, right? You could have some design runs with Fields. I could see it. Arthur Smith likes to run a lot of play action. I could see you incorporating boot action. I could see you incorporating little play like Patrick Mahomes did. Shout outs to Andy Reid, man. Masterful play caller. You know, that was the perfect time to call that on 4th and 1 where you give Mahomes the option to keep it. You can do that with Fields. I would trust maybe a Fields because he's more of a natural runner than a Kenny Pickett. You are right. Probably does have a stronger arm. Hasn't watched enough of Justin Fields in the league to know who's better accuracy-wise. But, yeah, Justin Fields, if you just look at the two and say who probably has the better upside, it probably would be Justin Fields. So, like I said, guys, if the Steelers did go that direction, y'all know what I do. I'll give you my opinion on what I think. But once something is done, I get behind the team and I just try to find the upside in everything. So even if I didn't want a guy, even if I say, well, I don't necessarily want to do the Justin Fields thing, if the Steelers think that's what's best, I'm all behind it. And then I'll be looking at a ton of film trying to understand what Fields is good at and what he's not, what he might bring to the table. So thank you for that call, man. Last call of the night. The remaining 864. What you got for us?
Hey, Sam. This is Q. I just wanted to say, 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 I Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me, Tim?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I hear you.
All
I'm
right.
gonna be very quick, bro. I think this offense is what we've been needing, man. On this offense, our defense it stayed on the field too long, and we had too many inside linebacker injuries, and it took a toll at the end of the year. And I think we're gonna see more play action to both tight end. Washington, he's going to get targets now. Then also, as far as the two wide receivers, this guy Deke and Arthur Moat, they got a platform. Well, Deke came on today, and he put up the stats of the wide receivers, the Atlanta wide receivers, London, and I can't think of the other guy. And their targets was pretty close to Pickett and Deontay, the two receivers that Atlanta had. They was up around over 100 targets. So they pretty close. I mean, as far as his system is concerned, I think it's going to be pretty good for us. And I think all the playmakers going to get to eat. They just going to have to come together and pull together. And first, it's going to start with the running game. You got to be able to buy in on the running game. Everybody going to have to sell out on the running game. But I think it's going to be okay. And that's all I got to say. Have a good one, brother. Peace.
Man, thanks for the call, man. And hey, that's some real good information. And shout outs to, Arthur Moats and Deke, my man Deke. Yo, Deke is that boy loves some Ben Roethlisberger, man. Deke was so mad when the Steelers let him retire. But yeah, shout outs to Moats and Deke, man. Obviously, Arthur Moats, we all know who that is. But yeah, Deke is his partner in crime. And Deke does his own videos independently as well. That's a great point, because I think I did hear something like that. Maybe not as detailed as what Deke said, but I think I did hear something about London, Drake London and Pitts and, even Bijan Robinson, like these guys, they were setting like some of the rookie records for the team or something like that. So yeah, that's a good, and I'm gonna go look at that video from Moats and Deke so I can have that information as well. But that's a great point. If Drake London being a receiver was getting enough targets, then there you have it. That will tell you right there that Arthur Smith's offense may not just be, run, pass. He must be mixing it up, or he at least must be mixing up some route combinations. So like I said, man, and I watched maybe one or two, but I need a little more than that under my belt. I'm definitely going to be watching some Falcons games, just so I could get an idea of what they did. And I'm going to look at, games they lost as well to see what plays they called, why they didn't work, things like that. And again, you guys who are members of the channel will see some of that as well. Because what I might do, I'm thinking about maybe the next time I do an exclusive content, I might try to get it to you guys this week. I can't guarantee it. I'm going out of town Friday. Tomorrow, my wife is doing something here at the home for the kiddos, my nieces and nephews and stuff for Valentine's. So I don't know if I'll have time to do it. Maybe tomorrow night sometime. We'll see. But I might just do a live all 22 where I haven't seen it. Y'all haven't seen it. And I'll just sit there and, we try to break it down like that. So we'll see. But I'm definitely going to get that information, that footage out to you guys soon. But yeah, man, look at this. Record time for a Terrible Towel Tuesday. We're done pretty much at 50 minutes. So I have a little time here to sit and kick it with you guys in the chat. Let's give Arthur Smith a chance, man. That's why I said Steelers fans seem like they just get desperate. It's like they don't like no pick. They don't like that we chose Arthur Smith. They don't like that, the Steelers didn't re-sign this guy. It's like we never just accept things for what they are. Like anything that's new, we always judge it before it even unfolds. Like I saw people trashing Arthur Smith, and I'm like, okay, listen, he didn't have a great go at it as a head coach. But there's no way any of us here in SteelerNation, the way we like Steeler football, especially some of our older gentlemen who called in and they remember back in the day. And a lot of times people say, I want us to be that ground and pound Steelers. right in your face, rough and tough. How could you not like what Arthur Smith did as an OC for the Titans? That should have you smiling, thinking about the running back tandem that the Steelers have and the other guys at the other skill positions. That should at least have you interested in seeing what he can do. Like Kenyon said last week, so it ain't the cute toy, the brand new hotness. But sometimes that ain't what's it. Sometimes that ain't the move. Just because it's new and cute don't mean, you know what I'm saying? Excuse me. Shout outs to the Ravens. That's been a team that's just run the ball all up and down the field. And they've done it consistently all of these years, and they've been wildly successful. For whatever reason, they can't get over the playoff hump. But y'all understand what I'm saying? Like, that approach can work too. The Cleveland Browns, the way they was running the ball on people with Chubb in it, like, it don't have to be this cute offense. Now, yes, I want us to get cute at times, right? Situational play calling, have some stuff in your back pocket like Andy Reid pulled out. But dog, I have no problem if y'all are telling me that the Steelers offense is going to be in the top 3 of the league in rushing, and they tops of the league at play action and successful play action at that. And they marching their way through the playoffs, getting to the championship game. Nah, I ain't gonna be mad at that. Just because it ain't the cute offense. Sometimes the cute offense don't work. I mean, Kyle Shanahan and them boys, sometimes the cute offense don't work. As successful as they were. Let me just go out on a limb and say that I love that Super Bowl in the first half. Woo! Ooh, I love seeing that. Boy, I love seeing that defense. Them defenses was playing their butts off. I loved it. And then adjustments were made. But I'm just saying, man, give this guy a chance. Why are we so down on something we ain't seen yet? I don't get it. I don't get it, my fellow SteelerNation members. Give it a chance. Let's see what happens. What y'all got, man? Give me some thoughts in the comments. I'll kick it with y'all for about another 5 minutes or so. What y'all got? I'm going to mess around and be done by 9 o'clock. Can't believe it. See, that's what happens when you start on time, too. Part of that is on me. Love Angel says, Sim, what R&B group did you sing for? No. I wasn't an R&B guy. I was an MC. I am an MC. I always say I'm an MC, even though I don't actively do it anymore. You always an artist. But no, I wasn't a singer. That's Kenyon. Kenyon is Mr. R&B. Let's see what y'all got. Sonny says kick the tires on Le'Veon Bell. Nah, no disrespect to Le'Veon, but I mean, what we gonna do with him? Who he taking off the field? Maybe Najee. Only reason why I say that because sometimes Najee vision ain't quite right. But I'm just saying, nah, I'm cool. 3-back rotation. If Le'Veon wants to come in and be a contributor as the 3rd back and understand that's his role, and he have to work for time, then okay. But I'm cool. Let's see what else y'all got. If Kenny is the competitor we think he is in the lab working to get better now. C.T. Pittman, that's what I want to see from this kid. I want Kenny to prove everybody wrong. And it's not that I'm a Kenny Pickett fan. Again, guys, I'm looking at this from a practical business standpoint. I don't want the Steelers to have to already go back and look for another franchise quarterback. I would love for Kenny Pickett to prove all of us wrong and turn it around and we get to rolling. I would love to have the quarterback positions locked and solidified. I would love that more. There's nothing else I would love more than that. So I hope you're right. I hope if he's this diehard competitor and, he's in his feelings, and he's going to prove us wrong. Hold on. Got to interrupt myself. We got a donation. Round of applause to Mariana Pampa. Appreciate it. Whoa. Woof. That's a big time question right there. And that's what we all need to ask ourselves. What would we want the Steelers to do if Mason Rudolph doesn't re-sign? Wow. Personally, I think they got to go with a veteran, man, and perhaps draft a guy. Yeah. Late round draft, a late flyer. Yeah. That's what I think you have to do because you need two. You need two quarterbacks. So, and when I say go with a veteran, maybe not just a veteran backup. I mean, if we have to go the veteran route again, right? What I mean by that, if we have to find a veteran like a Trubisky, let's not do a Trubisky. Let's go get a guy that we can compete for a starting role. That's what I would prefer. If you have to go get a guy. So if Mason Rudolph is gone, remember Mason Rudolph showed us that he's capable of winning games, managing a game. So there's your direct competition to Kenny if he stays. But if he doesn't, you got to go get a guy that can very well overtake Kenny Pickett. And that needs to be the intention. Look, we bringing in some real competition. You got to keep your job. You got to keep this guy off your back. Because if not, he's capable of coming in there and being the guy. So I would want them to do that. So that might change the conversation on Fields and Cousins and all of that, even though I don't want to tie all that money up. But they would have to do that and draft somebody. Maybe a later round guy. But they got to get two people from somewhere. So, yeah, that's going to be interesting, man. What else y'all got? What about Rattler or J.J. McCarthy? Like I said, man, there's going to be guys there that you can draft. You know, you might be able to draft them as high as you drafted Mason Rudolph. I don't necessarily want to do that. I don't want to spend a higher draft pick on a quarterback with the intention of Kenny Pickett still having a chance to be the man, right? Because unless you drafted a dude in the first round that you legitimately might be saying, look, he might be the guy, then I don't want to go too high because remember, we got a lot of holes to fill. I wouldn't want to go higher than the fourth, fifth if we have to do that. And maybe a couple of those guys might be there. You know, it seems like there's a lot of QBs in this draft. I don't know how many superstars there are, but you understand what I'm saying? A couple of those guys are going to be around fourth, maybe even fifth. So I would maybe take a shot there if we had to. Let's see what else y'all got. Okay, Anthony says we need to get CA3, Calvin Austin III. He says AKA AB 2.0. Need to get him the ball more. Good things happen when he touches the ball. I agree with everything you said except for AB 2.0. No, nothing about Calvin Austin reminds me of Antonio Brown. Just my opinion. But I do agree with your sentiment. Got to find a way to get that guy the ball, man, even if it's just gadget. Like, I have been disappointed at the fact and the lack thereof of the utilization of Calvin Austin. I don't understand. Really don't understand that. A lot of you guys are saying Russell Wilson won't cost anything. So, yeah, listen, man, I'm open to that. If you could get a Russell Wilson as your veteran QB, backup or starter, for pennies in terms of quarterback money, yeah, you take that. You take that. They say Coach T likes Justin Fields a lot. Yeah. You know, they saying a whole lot of stuff out there, man. I try not to read so much into the reports because a lot of those guys just be drumming up stories. No disrespect to them, but it's facts, you know. I'm sure he does, but we'll see what happens. You know, I try not to fall in love with any of the narratives until I see what actually happens. You know what I mean? All right, I'm going to take one or two more, man, and then we'll shut this thing down. Da, 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 da. Jamie Carlo says Rattler good QB, but his mind and attitude are not. Okay. I'm not familiar with his his attitude and approach, but I appreciate that information. Dominic Scully says, you want to win now. How about Kirk Cousins? Listen. Out of everybody that we talked about, I wouldn't mind Kirk Cousins or a Russell Wilson if we're trying to go with proven commodities. And again, I know some people are going to look at what Russell did in Denver, but I look at what Russell did late with Denver. He was making a push. And just what he's done in his career. Russell can still play. And you put Russell Wilson into right now, you put him in an offense that can run the ball and run play action. Oh, man. And the way Russell Wilson throws a deep ball, yeah, I'll take that. So if I had to go with any of the veterans right now in a win now situation, and I know everybody's not going to agree, but I think Cousins or Russell Wilson would be the best bet. Again, Justin Fields is more upside. But I wouldn't be opposed to that if the Steelers, again, let me qualify it. If the Steelers are in a win now situation and they must go get one of the top names in free agency or what have you, or somebody gets cut, I would rather it be Cousins or Wilson if they are in win now mentality. If not, I don't want to just do that just to do it. Let's see. I doubt Russ even entertains Pittsburgh. My guess is that based on his wife's occupation, they'd be more interested in moving to Atlanta. Yeah, and the fact that she's from Atlanta too. But hey, who would have ever thought that Sierra would have wanted to live in Denver, Colorado? Anything's possible, man. Money talks. And you're on the East Coast. Being in Pittsburgh, you ain't extremely far, via plane ride to Atlanta. You know what I mean? So, when you talk about celebrities that got capability of flying here, flying there, they got money, location and locale really don't matter so much. All right, one last one. Afro Thunder says Steelers do not have a good track record with bringing in veteran quarterbacks. Woodley, Graham, Blackledge. Well, I definitely agree with what you're saying, the sentiment as far as veterans, but the problem that the Pittsburgh Steelers are in, as well as us as fans, again, the name Ben Roethlisberger. He played 18 seasons in Pittsburgh. That doesn't happen a lot, right? It doesn't happen a lot where dudes are playing 18 seasons. So for 18 years, we hadn't had to see the Steelers really bring in a veteran who was going to eventually be the starter. You got good serviceable years out of guys like Charlie Batch, right? That was a good pickup. Even Byron Leftwich. You got some service from those guys in those time frames, but we have not been in a position in a long time where we had to see them get a free agent or get a veteran to become the guy, i.e. Trubisky. So it's just not going to look so appealing to us because we haven't had to do that like other teams have done it, like that carousel of quarterbacks. That longevity, man, it's with guys like Ben is what's kind of got most Steeler fans in a chokehold. Because again, some of you guys have admitted, some of you guys that are like 30, 25, 35. Ben Roethlisberger really was your only quarterback. By the time you were at an age where you were really paying attention to the game, Ben was your guy. Like a guy like Deke. I talked about Deke earlier. I'm thinking Deke can't be much older than 30-ish, 31, 32, somewhere around there. So think about that. It's probably about the same age as Moats, maybe a tad bit younger. And I think Moats is right around mid-30s. So that's all he knows. You understand what I'm saying? So that makes it difficult for us as a fan base and the Steeler organization. It makes it tough, man. Yeah, and Big Ben was just different. He started tailing off at the end of his career. Of course he is as he gets older, but that lightning in a bottle like that, I mean, from the first snap, dog, having the number one defense to back you up, winning all them games, winning the Super Bowl in year 2, youngest guy to do, like, that kind of stuff spoils you. It spoils you. And that's what we're dealing with, Steelers fans. I'm just facing the facts, man. But all right, man, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Getting out of here, man. Go ahead and get myself ready to commute tomorrow to DC for work. Yeah, it's quite a long commute, but hey, 2 days a week. And, if I'm being honest, the salary ain't too bad. But all right, man, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, man. Listen, I love you guys, man, for tuning in. I appreciate y'all, man, each and every week. A lot of y'all in here faithfully. Mr. Winningham, again, man, glad to hear you're doing well. Stay healthy, my friend. Stay healthy to all of us. Y'all know that's what I say each and every week. As I remind you, boom, boom. If you haven't, make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Last but not least, turn on your notification so you know when videos are streaming and or have been uploaded. But outside of that, I'm going to tell you guys to make sure you stay safe, stay healthy. God bless. Good night. Thank you for tuning in. And like always, I shall catch you in the next one. Peace.